What's up, everybody? I'm Dustin Elvis from DE Studios, joined by
Almost Apple.
And today we focus on Did You Know, our little factual segment where we just spout out a few facts about whatever subject. And this Did You Know is a part of our very first and will be annual Christmas collage video where we show you just multiple pieces of artwork as long as they qualify as a Christmas special. And this one most certainly does, because today we're going to tell you the top 10 strangest facts about Christmas. Number 1.
Alright everybody, Almost Apple here. I'm going to kick things off with the first Christmas fact, and it involves a very popular American franchise that you all may or may not know or love. Some of you might fight about it in the comments. KFC. Now, I know that Kentucky Fried Chicken is not the primary thing that comes to your mind when you think of Christmas. Normally it's probably like turkey, ham. If you're from up north and partially Italian like me, you know your mom makes lasagna for what reason. But due to a very successful marketing campaign about 40 years ago, having KFC for Christmas dinner is incredibly popular in Japan. So popular that around Christmas time you will have to place your order up to 2 months in advance.
2 months?
Yeah,
for KFC, 2 months
the Colonel's
for
recipe,
a Christmas dinner.
The Colonel's recipe goes good over there with soy sauce, apparently.
And is this only in Japan? Is this very popular just in Japan?
Well, as far as my research goes, yes.
Number 2. Alright, and for fact number 2, and this actually goes back to World War II, again, something you may not associate with Christmas, but before actually getting into it, let me ask you a question. Do you like bicycle? Not that kind of bicycle, though. The American Playing Card Company. Well, you may not have an answer at the ready, but for certain prisoners of war in World War II, otherwise known as POWs, they most certainly did, and that's because the company Bicycle created a special playing card that, when soaked in water, it would reveal a secret escape route. And these cards were gifts on Christmas Day.
Alright, what I don't understand about this is I don't get how that worked. Like, did they just like soak the cards and then like a map appeared? Did they like have written directions on them? Like, were all concentration camps exactly the same layout and they had the Death Star flaw war all of them had the same escape route? So
No. When you soaked the card, and what peeled away was a map of the area and what seemed like a highlighted route. For our viewers, see for yourself the cards on the screen. Number 3.
Well, since we're talking about world wars, in 1914, during World War I, rewinding a little bit, a truce was held between the German and the British forces around Christmas time. Each force decorated the exterior of their shelters and exchanged gifts across the legendary No Man's Land. And there was even reportedly a game of football to be played between opposing military forces.
See,
not American football for those of us here in the States, but soccer rather.
But the thing that completely just hits me is how could these men, from fighting each other, you know, over the previous week, month, year, what have you, go to have a good time, and now who's to say they really had a good day, I don't really know, but seemingly enjoy themselves for Christmas, and then just go back to fighting shortly after. It's very strange, but in a way it also kind of shines light on a brighter time in a very, very dark period, at least for those two forces. Number 4. Alright, we're going to move away from world wars and discuss scary ghost stories. Again, something you wouldn't really associate Christmas with, but strangely...
That holiday was a few months ago, I think.
But strangely, this was actually an old Christmas Eve tradition that has died out in the past century, but... What do you think, Apple? Should we bring that back as a new segment, Scary Ghost Stories around? Actually, no, just be annually around Christmas time.
Yeah, we'll get the hot chocolate together, a blanket, I'll cut the breaker to the house.
Number 5. Alright.
While we're speaking of strange traditions, this one is familiar to a village in Peru, where, on Christmas Day, they take all their transgressions against each other, verbal or physical, etc., and they clean their slate by engaging in fisticuffs, and they beat the living crap out of each other, so that this way, on January 1st, all of their arguments and problems have been beaten away in the bloody, swollen, bruised...
Okay, I have two things to ask you. Okay, one of which was this held on Christmas Day or was it like throughout Christmas?
My research says on Christmas Day.
Okay. Well, the second thing. I can think of a few people in my life that I have a genuine grudge against, and that I wouldn't mind hitting a couple of times. No, Apple, don't worry, it's not you in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, don't worry, you're on that list.
I'm on your list? Okay. However, that's over my lifetime. My thing is, do they just make up things to have grudges about to fight with every year? That's because I know they can fight it out and just everything's forgiven. But that's an amazing fact.
I wonder if there's any legal ramifications. I wasn't able to find that in my research. Like, if this is just legally allowed, like, does it get to go too far? Do you get to murder your neighbor because they didn't trim the hedges or anything?
No. You know what? Like the last fight, this is giving me a great idea. We should, Apple, bring this back. We don't really have grudges against each other, but you know what? For the fans, and for soon-to-be fans, you and me, let's duke it out.
You want to fight the guy with all the guns?
No. Number 6. And for our 6th fact, we bring you to yet another tradition, one that, well, it will get you shot here.
And not just in the Des household. Although it will get you highly shot in the Des household.
Yes. During Christmas time in Newfoundland, Canada, people called murmurs dress up in crude disguises and go from house to house. At each house they visit, they start dancing, playing music, and get wasted drunk, while the hosts try to discover their true identities.
No, I like this tradition. It's kind of like a game.
You do?
Yeah, it's kind of like a game of real. Nobody better come walking into my house.
Start dancing and drinking.
Start dancing and drinking. But I've got 3 questions. One, it's kind of cool because it's like a real life murder mystery, kind of like, like it's like playing the board game Clue, but in real life. It's like,
all right.
Is that my neighbor, like Craig from across the street, or is that like Pablo?
But it could be the guy that you really really hate and that you would never invite into your household.
Castle Laws novels. I can shoot anybody unwelcome in my house. My question though is, it says. You say wasted drunk. Are they drinking my alcohol or are they bringing their own?
See, I don't know. I couldn't see
Do
that
I get
in my
to charge
research.
them? Do I get to charge a cover at the door? Like,
okay, I don't see them honestly bringing their own from house to house. I see them keeping this party live, and by finding whatever is there at that person's home, whether it be legal alcohol or not,
well, that is,
and just chugging it.
That is not the way to go.
Number 7.
All right. Well, with that tradition out of the way. Here's another one regarding food. Some of you, as we mentioned earlier in the KFC video, some of you may associate Christmas with ham, lasagna, turkey, whatever. But in England, that wasn't always the case. A traditional English Christmas meal, don't know why that was such a mouthful, was actually a roasted pig's head and mustard, my personal favorite condiment. And you can't see me right now, but I'm gagging.
Needless to say, Apple here at the household hates mustard, which is weird seeing as that everyone around him adores mustard. However, even though I do enjoy mustard, I'm sorry, but I will not, for Christmas Day, eat a pig's head with mustard. Not happening. Number 8. And since we're on the topic of food, let's discuss our 8th fact, which involves the Christmas tree. I know.
The most iconic symbol of Christmas.
And something that you wouldn't widely consider edible. But in fact, many parts of the Christmas tree can be eaten, with the needles being a good source for vitamin C. But for legal reasons, at least for us, no one here at DE Studios condones eating your Christmas tree. We certainly won't eat the Christmas tree. We recommend you stick with the turkey or pig's head and mustard in that case. And if you really are that desperate for vitamin C, just stick to some good old-fashioned OJ.
I don't know. I might go do this. I might go down to the local Christmas tree farm and grab us some dinner tonight. I don't know.
Well, that dinner you'll be eating alone, sir.
Nonsense. You can put your mustard on it.
Number 9.
And away with the tree, and on to another Christmas food staple. Christmas pudding. Now, I know what you're thinking. Figgy pudding. Or maybe you're thinking, yay, figgy pudding. No, I don't know. Blah. However, did you know that Christmas pudding was originally a soup of raisins and wine? Now, I'm sure Novels, being the non-drinker he is, would tell you he'd rather stick with his mom's homemade pudding.
Which is actually pudding, just to say I'm not...
I don't know. I could, pour in a little Henny and, do this.
I'm glad you find this pudding or soup acceptable because I don't. Number 10. Alright, and for our final fact, our 10th, we move away from food and tradition and onto a movie that we should all know and love.
Home Alone?
Okay, yes, Home Alone too, but no. However, in this case, we're actually talking about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Now, did you know that the movie that so many covet isn't the original? In fact, the original was released in 1964, and the ending was so disappointing that it was forcibly removed, and its creators had to release an edited version, which is the one that we all know and love. They removed several original parts that in turn left plot holes, like when Yukon Cornelius licked his pickaxe. To the unwitting audience, this looked a bit crazy, like that one uncle who shows up every year, but in actuality, he licked his pickaxe to discover if he had struck down into a peppermint mine, and licking it was just the best way to find out. But however, we are finding that fact, that second fact for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, is surprisingly
Commoner than it was reported.
to know it a little bit better. So let us know in the comment section if you knew that fact, or if you knew several of these facts, and if we missed out on a few. Make sure to let us know in the comment section below.
Well, that's it for the first and very special episode of our newest segment, Did You Know? Holiday Edition. They won't all be holiday editions. Get them while they're hot. And we'd like to segue on into a holiday edition of Why Do I Work Here? Also read off by yours truly, Almost Apple, and
Dusty Novels.
And we'll see you guys soon.
Welcome to the DIDN card. You're simply awesome for making it this far. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and most certainly subscribe so you don't miss out on another video. And if you're into more of our content, let us help you out with that. For a related video, click on the top left, or let us suggest one for you. In that case, top right. Or maybe you want some randomness in your life. If so, then click on the bottom left. Remember to be heard and stay interactive, and from all of us here at the studio, we'll see you next time.